$900,000. That is how much Kody and Robyn Brown allegedly paid for their Flagstaff mansion, while the other sister wives were left scrambling for financial survival. But according to explosive allegations now rocking the sister wives fandom, that stunning property purchase may have been built on a foundation of lies, misrepresented income, and paperwork that simply does not add up. The scandal that fans have whispered about for years has allegedly been blown wide open, and the person reportedly holding the smoking gun is none other than Meri Brown herself. After 3 decades of loyalty, 3 decades of being pushed aside and treated like an afterthought, Meri allegedly uncovered financial documents during her separation proceedings that paint a devastating picture of deception. Sources claim she did not stay quiet this time, she brought receipts. And folks, if even half of what is being alleged turns out to be true, Kody and Robyn's carefully constructed image of struggling polygamist parents is about to be exposed as the biggest fraud in reality television history. The Brown family fandom has erupted into absolute chaos since these allegations surfaced. Social media is on fire, Reddit threads are exploding with theories, and former supporters who once defended Kody and Robyn are now demanding answers. One longtime viewer put it bluntly on a popular fan forum saying, "We always knew something was off about their finances, but this is worse than anyone imagined." Another commenter described it as the final proof that Kody chose Robyn and let everyone else suffer. The anger is palpable, and it is completely justified. For years, we watched Christine struggle, we watched Janelle live in an RV, we watched Meri get emotionally discarded, and all the while, Kody and Robyn were allegedly playing an entirely different financial game behind closed doors. What makes this scandal particularly explosive is the timing. These allegations are surfacing just as the Brown family has fractured beyond repair. Christine has moved on and found happiness, Janelle has declared her independence, Meri has finally walked away after years of humiliation, and now, the one wife who remained by Kody's side, the one wife who allegedly benefited most from the family's resources, is reportedly at the center of a financial scandal that could have serious legal implications. The irony is absolutely staggering. Kody spent years positioning himself as the patriarch who held everything together, the man who made the tough financial decisions for his family. Now those very decisions are allegedly coming back to haunt him in ways he never anticipated. Insiders close to the situation say the alleged scheme involves multiple red flags that should have been caught years ago. We are talking about claimed income on loan applications that allegedly does not match what was reported elsewhere. We are talking about residency claims that allegedly stretch the bounds of believability. We are talking about a paper trail that reportedly tells a very different story than the one Kody and Robyn have been selling to viewers for over a decade. And the most damning part? Sources claim Meri stumbled upon these discrepancies almost by accident while trying to untangle her own financial ties to the family. But the paperwork trail is just the beginning, and what allegedly lies within those documents could unravel everything the Browns have built. The financial dysfunction within the Brown family has been an open secret for years, but this alleged scandal puts everything we thought we knew into a completely different context. From the very beginning of Sister Wives, we were told that money was tight. We were shown the family budgeting carefully, making sacrifices, pooling resources to keep their plural marriage afloat. Kody positioned himself as a man doing his best to provide for 4 wives and 18 children, a noble patriarch struggling against a system that did not understand his lifestyle. But fans have been raising questions for years that the family has never adequately answered. How exactly do Kody and Robyn afford that mansion? How do they maintain their lifestyle while claiming financial hardship? And why did the other wives seem to walk away with so little? The answers, according to multiple sources, may finally be emerging. Reports suggest that what Meri allegedly uncovered goes far deeper than simple financial favoritism. We are potentially talking about misrepresented income on mortgage applications. We are potentially talking about occupancy claims that allegedly do not hold up to scrutiny. We are potentially talking about a pattern of financial maneuvering that spans years and involves multiple properties. One source familiar with real estate fraud cases described what has been alleged as textbook mortgage fraud behavior, adding that if these claims are accurate, someone is going to have serious legal problems. Let that sink in for a moment. We are not talking about Kody being a bad husband or playing favorites anymore. We are talking about allegations that could potentially attract the attention of federal investigators. The Flagstaff property has been a lightning rod for criticism since the day the Browns moved to Arizona. Fans immediately questioned how a family that constantly complained about money could afford a home reportedly valued at over $900,000. The house features multiple bedrooms, stunning views, and the kind of square footage that most middle-class families could only dream about. Meanwhile, Janelle was living in in an RV on Coyote Pass, the family land that was supposed to be their collective future. Christine moved to Utah and started over from scratch. Meri retreated to her bed and breakfast, the business she built with her own money and her own sweat. The contrast could not have been more stark, and fans noticed. What insiders are now alleging is that the disparity was not accidental. Sources close to the family claim that financial resources were deliberately funneled toward Kody and Robyn's household, while the other wives were left to fend for themselves. One person who claims to have knowledge of the situation said it was never about the family as a whole, adding that it was always about setting up Kody and Robyn while keeping the others just comfortable enough to stay on the show. The alleged manipulation reportedly went on for years, hidden behind the chaos of moves, the drama of relationships, and the endless distractions that plural family life provided. But Meri, the woman everyone underestimated, allegedly found the evidence that could expose everything. The question that everyone is asking now is simple. What did Meri actually discover, and what is she allegedly doing with that information? Let us break down what mortgage fraud actually means, because the allegations swirling around Kody and Robyn are not vague accusations from bitter fans. These are specific claims about specific behaviors that, if proven true, carry serious legal consequences. Mortgage fraud typically involves misrepresenting information on a loan application to obtain financing that would not otherwise be approved. This can include lying about income, falsifying employment status, misrepresenting the intended use of a property, or claiming assets that do not exist. Federal authorities do not take these matters lightly. People go to prison for this. Celebrities have seen their careers destroyed over exactly these kinds of allegations, and now, according to multiple sources, Kody and Robyn Brown are allegedly caught in the crosshairs. The specific allegations that have surfaced involve several key areas of concern. First, there are reports suggesting that Kody may have claimed primary residence status on multiple properties at the same time, a serious red flag in any mortgage application. Second, sources allege that income reported on loan applications does not match what appears to have been disclosed elsewhere, including to TLC and potentially to tax authorities. Third, and perhaps most damaging, there are claims that Robyn's name appears on documents that raise significant questions about her knowledge of and participation in these alleged activities. One legal expert who reviewed the publicly available information said the discrepancies are concerning, adding that these are exactly the kinds of patterns that trigger fraud investigations. Social media sleuths have been compiling data on the Brown family finances for months, and their findings paint a troubling picture. Property records show a timeline of purchases and sales that allegedly does not align with the family's public claims of financial struggle. Loan documents that have surfaced raise questions about how certain approvals were obtained. And fan researchers have noted inconsistencies between what the family claimed on the show versus what allegedly appeared on official paperwork. One Reddit user who has been tracking the Browns for years posted a detailed analysis that gained thousands of upvotes, saying the math has never mathed with these two, and now we finally might understand why. The Flagstaff mansion purchase in particular has drawn intense scrutiny. At the time, Kody and Robyn claimed they needed the space for their large family, but critics pointed out that most of Robyn's children were approaching adulthood. The home featured amenities that seemed excessive for a couple constantly pleading poverty, and the purchase came at a time when the family was supposedly still reeling from the expensive Las Vegas to Flagstaff move. One insider allegedly described the situation as Kody and Robyn living champagne lives on what was presented as a beer budget, and the only way that works is if someone is playing games with the numbers. But the alleged scheme extends beyond just one property, and sources claim documentation exists that could prove a pattern of behavior spanning years. Meri Brown spent over 3 decades as Kody's first wife, and for most of that time, she was the ultimate loyal soldier. She defended him when critics attacked. She stayed when he emotionally abandoned her. She continued filming a show that documented her humiliation season after season. But something changed in those final years, and according to sources close to the situation, Meri's transformation from doormat to alleged whistleblower is one of the most unexpected plot twists in Sister Wives history. The woman everyone wrote off as too weak to leave allegedly became the one person willing to expose what was really happening behind the scenes. Sources claim that Meri first became aware of financial irregularities while attempting to untangle her assets from the Brown family during her spiritual divorce proceedings. After decades of contributing to the family's collective resources, Meri reportedly wanted a clear accounting of where money had gone and what she was entitled to receive. What she allegedly found instead was a trail of paperwork that raised serious red flags. One person familiar with the situation said Meri was shocked by what she discovered, adding that she had no idea the extent of what had been going on while she was busy being loyal to a man who had already checked out of their marriage. The irony is almost too perfect. For years, Meri was portrayed as the needy wife, the one who demanded too much, the one whose catfishing scandal embarrassed the family. Kody used every opportunity to minimize her contributions and maximize her failures. Robyn positioned herself as the good wife, the supportive one, the one who truly understood Kody's heart. But now, according to these allegations, it appears that while everyone was focused on Meri's supposed shortcomings, the real financial manipulation was happening in an entirely different household. One longtime viewer summed it up perfectly online, saying Meri was getting gaslit about being the problem while Kody and Robyn were allegedly running a whole operation. What makes Meri's alleged role in this exposure particularly significant is her access to information. As the legal wife for most of the marriage, Meri would have had legitimate reasons to review financial documents, tax returns, and property records. Sources claim she took full advantage of that access during her separation, compiling evidence that allegedly paints a damning picture of systematic financial deception. One insider put it bluntly, saying Meri did not just leave with hurt feelings, she left with receipts, and Kody allegedly never saw it coming because he stopped taking her seriously years ago. The timing of these revelations is also telling. Meri officially announced her separation from Kody in early 2023, and in the months since, she has been notably quiet about the specifics of why she finally walked away. Now, sources suggest that her silence may have been strategic. Rather than engaging in public drama, Meri allegedly chose to let the legal process play out while the evidence she discovered worked its way through appropriate channels. But Meri is not the only former sister wife who reportedly noticed that something was off with the family finances, and what Janelle and Christine allegedly knew could add even more fuel to this fire. While Kody and Robyn were allegedly living large in their Flagstaff mansion, the other sister wives were experiencing a very different financial reality. Janelle Brown, the wife who arguably contributed more to the family's income over the years than anyone else, found herself living in an RV on Coyote Pass after her separation from Kody. Let that sink in for a moment. A woman who worked throughout her marriage, who helped support 18 children, who put her own dreams on hold for the collective family good, ended up in a recreational vehicle, while her husband's favorite wife enjoyed a $900,000 home. If that does not make your blood boil, you are not paying attention. Janelle has been relatively diplomatic in her public statements about the financial aspects of her separation, but sources claim she always suspected something was not right. One person familiar with the situation said Janelle questioned where the money was going for years, but Kody always had explanations and she wanted to believe him. Another insider alleged that Janelle is now comparing notes with Meri and Christine, and what they are finding is confirming their worst suspicions about how family resources were allegedly distributed. The Sister Wives group chat, according to sources, has allegedly never been more active. Christine's situation provides another striking contrast. When she announced her departure from the family in 2021, she made a point of emphasizing her financial independence. She sold her Flagstaff home, moved to Utah, and built a new life without Kody's involvement. At the time, many fans praised her strength and self-sufficiency, but in light of these new allegations, Christine's clean break looks even smarter. Sources claim she wanted nothing to do with the family's financial entanglements, and some speculate that she may have had an inkling that problems were brewing. One person close to Christine allegedly said she just wanted out clean, adding that she did not want to be anywhere near whatever might eventually blow up. What is particularly galling is how Kody and Robyn have presented themselves publicly throughout all of this. On the show, they position themselves as victims of circumstance, struggling parents just trying to keep their family together. Robyn in particular perfected the art of tearful interviews where she claimed to want nothing more than family unity. But the financial allegations suggest a very different story. While Robyn was crying about the family falling apart, she and Kody were allegedly building a comfortable life that the other wives could only dream about. One fan comment that went viral captured the sentiment perfectly, saying Robyn's tears are allegedly paid for with money that should have gone to the whole family. The Coyote Pass property represents another aspect of this financial dysfunction. The land was supposed to be the Browns' collective future, a place where all four wives would build their dream homes and live in harmony. Instead, it has become a symbol of broken promises and alleged financial manipulation. Janelle reportedly invested significant resources into the property, only to find herself essentially homeless, while Kody showed no interest in developing the land for anyone except himself and Robyn. Sources claim documentation exists that could prove money intended for Coyote Pass development was allegedly diverted elsewhere. But the documentation that has allegedly surfaced goes far beyond Coyote Pass, and what social media investigators have uncovered could change everything. The paper trail allegedly connecting Kody and Robyn to potential mortgage fraud has become the subject of intense online investigation. Social media sleuths, armed with public property records and a determination that would make professional investigators jealous, have been compiling evidence for months. What they have allegedly found paints a picture of systematic financial maneuvering that raises serious questions about how the Browns obtained their various properties. One researcher who has been tracking the family for years posted a detailed breakdown that quickly went viral, saying the inconsistencies are everywhere once you know where to look. Property records allegedly show a pattern of purchases that does not align with the Browns' public claims of financial hardship. Timeline inconsistencies suggest that certain transactions occurred under circumstances that warrant closer examination, and perhaps most damaging, sources claim that discrepancies exist between what appears to have been reported on loan applications versus what the family disclosed to TLC and potentially to tax authorities. One person who claims to have reviewed relevant documents said the numbers just do not add up, adding that either someone was lying to the bank or someone was lying to everyone else, and possibly both. Legal experts who have weighed in on the allegations paint a concerning picture for Kody and Robyn. Mortgage fraud is a federal offense that can carry sentences of up to 30 years in prison and fines of up to $1 million. While most cases do not result in maximum penalties, the consequences can still be devastating. Careers are destroyed, reputations are ruined, and in cases involving public figures, the scrutiny is particularly intense. One attorney familiar with these types of cases said if the allegations are accurate, these are exactly the kinds of red flags that trigger investigations, adding that federal authorities take mortgage fraud very seriously. The timing of certain transactions has drawn particular attention from online investigators. Purchases allegedly occurred at moments that seem strategically chosen to avoid scrutiny. Refinancing allegedly happened under circumstances that raise questions, and the movement of money allegedly followed patterns that suggest careful planning rather than the chaotic financial management the Browns have portrayed on television. One detailed analysis posted online noted that for a family that claims to struggle with money, they sure seem to know exactly how to work the system. What makes the alleged evidence particularly compelling is the multiple sources from which it has been compiled. We are not talking about speculation or wishful thinking from fans who dislike Kody and Robyn. We are talking about property records, loan documents, and timeline reconstructions based on publicly available information. One investigator summarized their findings by saying this is not about being petty or wanting them to fail, adding that this is about accountability for alleged behavior that, if true, is actually illegal. But as damning as the paper trail allegedly appears, Robyn's reaction to these accusations has been even more revealing. Robyn Brown has built her entire sister wives persona on a carefully crafted image of innocence and victimhood. She is the wife who just wanted everyone to get along. She is the mother who only cares about her children. She is the woman who never asked for special treatment but somehow always seemed to receive it. For years, this act worked on at least a portion of the audience. But the alleged mortgage scandal is testing that image like never before, and Robyn's response, or rather her notable lack of response, is telling. Since the allegations surfaced, Robyn has gone remarkably quiet on social media. The woman who once regularly posted about her family and her feelings has seemingly retreated from public view. Sources close to the situation say this is not a coincidence. One insider alleged that Robyn has been advised by legal counsel to say absolutely nothing that could be used against her later. Another source claimed that Robyn is terrified because she allegedly signed documents without fully understanding what she was putting her name on. If true, this would fit a pattern of behavior Robyn has exhibited throughout her time on the show, claiming naivety while benefiting from decisions made in her favor. Robyn's history of playing the financial innocent has always been somewhat hard to swallow. She entered the Brown family with approximately $30,000 in debt, money that the family resources allegedly helped pay off. She quickly positioned herself in the nicest homes with the most help and with the least financial contribution to the collective family. Her nanny situation alone raised eyebrows from fans who wondered where the money was coming from for household help when other wives were doing everything themselves. One commenter online summarized the frustration perfectly, saying Robyn always claims she does not know anything about money, but somehow the money always ends up in her pocket. Kody's response to the allegations has been equally revealing in its absence. The man who has never hesitated to defend himself on social media, who has ranted about his critics and attacked anyone who questioned him, has gone completely silent on this topic. Sources allege that Kody is scrambling behind the scenes, consulting with attorneys and trying to understand the extent of his potential legal potential exposure. One person who claims to know the family said Kody is finally scared because he cannot charm his way out of federal fraud allegations. The contrast between how Kody and Robyn are handling this situation versus how they have handled other controversies is stark. When fans criticized their treatment of the other wives, they pushed back publicly. When the show portrayed them negatively, they complained to producers. But these allegations? Complete silence. And in public relations terms, silence often speaks louder than words. One communications expert noted that when public figures go quiet about specific allegations, it usually means their lawyers have told them the situation is serious. But sources close to the family say the real drama is happening behind closed doors, where Kody and Robyn are allegedly turning on each other. The fairy tale marriage between Kody and Robyn Brown may finally be hitting the rocks, and according to sources, the alleged mortgage scandal is accelerating the breakdown. For years, Kody presented Robyn as his soulmate, the wife who truly understood him, the partner he could always count on. But insiders allege that the legal pressure mounting from these financial allegations is exposing cracks in their relationship that Kody never expected. One person familiar with the situation said the fighting has become constant, adding that they are allegedly pointing fingers at each other, trying to figure out who is going to take the blame. The blame game allegedly playing out inside the Brown household follows a predictable pattern. Sources claim that Kody is telling anyone who will listen that Robyn handled most of the paperwork for their property transactions. Meanwhile, Robyn is allegedly claiming that she simply signed whatever documents Kody put in front of her without understanding the details. Sound familiar? It is the exact same dynamic they have exhibited throughout their marriage, with Robyn claiming innocence and Kody claiming ignorance. But in a potential federal fraud investigation, pointing fingers at your spouse is not going to save either of you from consequences. One insider painted a particularly devastating picture of the couple's current dynamic. They described recent weeks as a nightmare inside that house, saying Kody allegedly believes Robyn should have been more careful, and Robyn allegedly thinks Kody set her up to take the fall. The trust between them has allegedly shattered. The united front they always presented to the public is allegedly crumbling, and the children caught in the middle are allegedly witnessing their parents' marriage implode in real time. Another source added that even Robyn's kids are allegedly starting to ask questions about why everything is falling apart. The timing of this marital discord could not be worse for Kody and Robyn's public image rehabilitation efforts. They have spent the past few years trying to reframe themselves as victims of circumstance, painting the other wives as the villains who abandoned the family. They have given interviews positioning themselves as the ones who tried to keep everything together, but these alleged financial revelations undercut that entire narrative. It is hard to play the victim when you are allegedly living in a mansion while your former sister wives struggle financially. It is hard to claim you wanted family unity when you allegedly structured your finances to benefit yourself at everyone else's expense. Industry watchers have noted the parallels between the Browns' situation and other reality television families who have faced legal troubles. The Judasys from Real Housewives of New Jersey both served prison time for fraud. The Chrisleys are currently facing years behind bars for financial crimes. And the common thread in all these cases is that the lifestyle portrayed on television did not match the actual financial resources available, leading to desperate measures that eventually caught up with them. But the implications of this alleged scandal extend far beyond just Kody and Robyn's relationship. The alleged mortgage scandal does not just threaten Kody and Robyn personally, it potentially jeopardizes the entire Sister Wives franchise and raises serious questions about TLC's role in all of this. The network has built a successful reality television empire on the premise of authenticity, showing viewers real families navigating real challenges. But if one of their flagship families has been allegedly committing financial fraud for years, the network faces uncomfortable questions about what they knew and when they knew it. Sources allege that TLC has launched an internal review of the Browns' financial disclosures following the emergence of these allegations. The network reportedly requires reality stars to provide certain financial information for insurance and liability purposes, and if those disclosures do not match what was allegedly reported to banks, TLC could find itself in a complicated legal position. One entertainment industry insider said networks are usually very careful to maintain plausible deniability about their stars' off-camera behavior, but if there is documentation showing TLC had information that contradicts what was allegedly told to lenders, that becomes a major problem. The future of Sister Wives itself is now allegedly in question. The show has been a ratings performer for TLC for well over a decade, documenting the Browns through multiple moves, marriages, and most recently separations. But a federal fraud investigation would make continued filming extremely complicated. Legal advisors typically counsel clients facing potential charges to avoid any public statements or appearances that could provide additional evidence. And even if the allegations ultimately prove unfounded, the publicity alone could make advertisers skittish about association with the program. Other reality television families who have faced similar scandals provide a roadmap for what might come next. The Giudice family's legal troubles became part of their show's storyline for a time before eventually leading to their departure from the franchise. The Chrisleys saw their show canceled as their legal problems mounted, and in each case, the network eventually decided that the risk of continued association outweighed the ratings benefits. One television industry analyst noted that TLC will be watching this very carefully, adding that they have invested a lot in the Sister Wives brand, but no show is worth risking the network's reputation. The ripple effects potentially extend to other members of the Brown family as well. Kody's children, many of whom have already distanced themselves from their father, could find themselves drawn into investigations as potential witnesses. Property held jointly or with family members could face scrutiny, and the already fractured relationships within the extended family could deteriorate even further as the pressure mounts. Sources claim that Kody's children are allegedly losing whatever remaining respect they had for him, as details of the scandal spread. But the most pressing question for Kody and Robyn is what legal consequences they might actually face. The potential legal ramifications of the alleged mortgage fraud scheme facing Kody and Robyn Brown are no laughing matter. Mortgage fraud is a federal offense taken extremely seriously by prosecutors, particularly in cases involving multiple transactions or significant dollar amounts. If the allegations being investigated prove true, the Browns could face consequences ranging from substantial fines to actual prison time. And unlike the court of public opinion, federal prosecutors do not care how many reality television seasons you have filmed. Legal experts who have examined the publicly available information paint a concerning picture. One attorney specializing in financial crimes said the allegations describe a textbook pattern of mortgage fraud behavior, adding that if documentation supports these claims, prosecutors will be very interested. Another legal analyst noted that the involvement of multiple properties over an extended timeline could elevate this from a simple mistake into potential organized fraud, which carries significantly harsher penalties. For those keeping score at home, federal mortgage fraud charges can result in up to 30 years imprisonment and fines of up to $1 million. The cases of other reality television personalities who have faced financial crime charges offer a preview of what might await the Browns. Teresa and Joe Giudice from Real Housewives of New Jersey both served prison sentences for their financial crimes, with Joe ultimately being deported to Italy. Todd and Julie Chrisley were sentenced to a combined 19 years in federal prison after being convicted of bank fraud and tax evasion. The common theme in these cases is that fame provided no protection from prosecution. If anything, the high-profile nature of their lives made authorities more determined to pursue charges. Beyond the criminal implications, Kody and Robyn could face significant civil consequences as well. Banks that believe they were defrauded can pursue civil remedies to recover losses. Properties obtained through allegedly fraudulent means can be seized, and the legal fees alone for defending against both criminal and civil actions can be financially devastating. One financial advisor who has worked with clients facing similar allegations said even if they beat the charges, the legal costs of defense can bankrupt people. The impact on Kody's relationships with his children could also be affected by any legal proceedings. Custody arrangements, visitation rights, and financial support obligations could all come under review if Kody faces criminal charges. Children who already want nothing to do with their father might find additional reasons to maintain distance, and the few family members who have remained somewhat supportive could be forced to choose between loyalty and self-preservation. But beyond the legal implications, the biggest question fans are asking is what this all means for the future. The chaos now engulfing the Brown family feels like the inevitable conclusion to a story that has been building for years. Kody spent decades positioning himself as the righteous patriarch, the man who held his plural family together through faith and determination. He portrayed himself as a leader making difficult decisions for the good of everyone. He demanded loyalty while allegedly providing none in return. And now, according to these explosive allegations, the entire foundation of his family empire may have been built on financial deception. The irony is so thick you could cut it with a knife. What we are potentially witnessing is karma on a scale that even the most devoted Sister Wives fans could not have predicted. Kody lost Christine, who found happiness and a new love. He lost Janelle, who discovered she was better off alone. He lost Meri, who finally decided that decades of loyalty deserved better than emotional abandonment. He alienated most of his children, who have publicly expressed their disappointment and anger. And now, according to sources, he is allegedly losing the one person who stuck by him through everything. As his relationship with Robyn allegedly crumbles under the weight of financial scandal and legal pressure. The Sister Wives franchise began as a platform for normalizing plural marriage, showing America that these families were not so different from anyone else. The Browns invited cameras into their homes to demonstrate that love, commitment, and family values could exist in non-traditional structures. But what the cameras ultimately captured was something very different. They captured manipulation, favoritism, emotional abuse, and now allegedly financial crimes. One longtime viewer posted a comment that perfectly captured the current sentiment, saying, "We were sold a show about sister wives, but what we actually got was a documentary about how one man destroyed his entire family." Looking ahead, the future of Kody and Robyn Brown remains uncertain. Will they face criminal charges? Will their marriage survive the pressure? Will TLC continue filming a family whose patriarch is allegedly under investigation for fraud? These questions will be answered in time, but the court of public opinion has already rendered its verdict. Fans who once gave Kody the benefit of the doubt have turned against him completely. Viewers who tried to see Robyn's perspective have lost all sympathy, and the sister wives who left have been vindicated in ways they probably never imagined. The question now is whether Kody and Robyn will face actual legal consequences for their alleged actions, or whether they will somehow escape accountability once again. History suggests that wealthy reality television stars often find ways to avoid the harshest penalties, but the mounting evidence, the paper trail, and the multiple sources coming forward suggest this time might be different. For a man who spent years avoiding consequences for his behavior, Kody Brown may finally be running out of exits. And for viewers who have watched this family saga unfold for over a decade, there is a certain poetic justice in seeing alleged greed become his potential downfall. The walls may not be closing in yet, but they are certainly getting closer. Do you think Kody and Robyn should face legal consequences, or has the court of public opinion already delivered its verdict? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.